Okay. The question I have is, who is Jesus? We know he died on the cross. We know he saved us from sin, gave us mercy. We know all those things, and I thank God for it. I thank you. We need to know more than just that. I want to know more than just that. My husband been telling me for days, weeks, that I need to study Jesus. This is before the thing happened to me that led me here to you. I did start reading a few verses, but I never finished. I want to start now, and I'm going to start all over because, what's wrong with rereading the Bible? We want to start off with a prayer. Lord, I just thank you for this Bible study today, Lord. I thank you for where we are starting. I thank you for starting, Lord. I thank you for giving us the courage to start and the motivation to start, Lord. I thank you for you. I thank you for where we're going and what we're going to become. Lord, I thank you for the transformation that we are about to have with reading this book. And I thank you for what we've already had, Lord, and what I've already had, Lord. So I thank you. In Jesus' name I pray. Amen. Okay. So where I'm starting at is Matthew's. So you see mine is the book of the generation of Jesus Christ, the son of David, the son of Abraham. Abraham begot Isaac, and Isaac begot Jacob, and Jacob begot Judas and his brethren, and Judas begot Phares and Zara. So this is just about people having who was whose father. So I'm just going to go ahead and scroll all the way down to 16. And Jacob begot Joseph, the husband of Mary, of whom was born Jesus, who is called Christ. So Mary is Jesus's mother. I mean, we might as well just start there. Joseph was Jesus's father. That's a whole thing. God planted Jesus into Mary. Joseph wasn't the father, but he played the position of Jesus's father. All the generations from Abraham to David are 14 generations, and from David until the carrying away into Babylon are 14 generations, and from the carrying away into Babylon unto Christ are 14 generations. So a lot of babies. Now I'm on verse 18, chapter 1. Now the birth of Jesus Christ was on this wise, when as his mother Mary was espoused to Joseph. So it's ESPOUSED to Joseph. When as his mother Mary was espoused to Joseph before they came together, she was found with child of the Holy Ghost. Like I was telling you, she was impregnated by the Holy Ghost, and Joseph was brought into the position to play as the father, be the father of Jesus. She shall bring forth a son, and thou shalt call his name Jesus. I mean, if you just think about the name Jesus, how powerful that is alone. Like, he get that name, Jesus. They talk a lot about names and how important they were. Abraham was Abram at first and turned to Abraham or stuff like that. So they had like transitions. Once they got into a certain point in their lives, their name was changed, or it become and had different definitions. So watch what you naming your kids, okay? For he shall save his people from their sins. I mean, we know that they knew there was prophets prophesying, saying that, Jesus was coming, and prophesying. I'm pretty sure that's the word. Oh my God. And that Mary was going to have this baby. They already seen this happen. People already seen this happen. Verse 22, Matthew. Now all this was done that it might be fulfilled, which was spoken of the Lord by the prophet. See, the prophet told y'all, the prophet told him when it says, which was spoken of the Lord by the prophet. God used a prophet, used a person, not just any person, a chosen person, to be able to see the future of what will happen. Might be fulfilled, which was spoken of the Lord by the prophet, saying, behold, a virgin shall be with child, and shall bring forth a son, and they shall call his name Emmanuel. I was talking to my husband because, like I said, I read this part already because I was confused, right? I know he has multiple names, right? But I've never heard, this is the first time I heard Emmanuel used as Jesus. Because all through the Bible, you hear Jesus, God. You don't hear, from what I've read so far, you don't hear Emmanuel. You don't hear those things. So I was like, wait, was Jesus Emmanuel? And Jesus is Emmanuel. That was he will be named Jesus, but his name was also Emmanuel, which being interpreted is God is with us. I mean, just take that in, man, because I mean, that right there, I mean, I would remember what I told you about names, how important they are. God is with us is the definition of Emmanuel, of the name that was given to Jesus. I do want to bring back up Mary too, because could you imagine being pregnant and saying, wait a minute, I'm carrying a child and who's going to help me? And then back then it was a lot because you get stoned and all these other things because you weren't a virgin, and people thought bad things about you because you weren't a virgin. She had a clean body, pure. I'm not saying like we're not clean. We do what we do. But I'm saying she was pure. Okay, verse 24. Then Joseph, being raised from sleep, did as the angel of the Lord had bidden him, and took unto him his wife, and knew her not till she had brought forth her firstborn son. And he called his name Jesus. One day he's just, doing his thing, sleep, I don't know. And God comes to him and says, hey, I need you to come take care of this woman because she's carrying Jesus, my son. And you have to marry, take her as your wife. And, that's a certain kind of man. That's a certain kind of man. And can I tell y'all what my husband's name is? Joseph. He's a good man. I feel like I need to study that too, because, about Mary and Joseph and what their thing was, because it's been so long since I studied that now I just go based off of movies and shows. So I do want to study his birth and what the process was. Mary was pregnant, but I just feel like regrouping, going back to the beginning of things is important to me, because when it comes to the Bible, it kind of brings up those things multiple times, and it's good to actually know what's going on. But I do have a basis. But when it comes to like super detailed what happened, I don't remember. I honestly don't even remember if she was pregnant because at this verse, it just got me shooken and asked question. And knew her not till she had brought forth her firstborn. So let me look that up. Okay, so brought forth her firstborn son. You can see, I'm on my tablet. I'm looking up brought forth, to give birth to someone or to produce something. So maybe I'm just looking too deep into it, but that's what happens with the Bible. You just, look, camera's crooked now. It makes you think deeper, especially when you go back and look at it. You're not just going by what you remember when you was a kid and what what you thought of then and what's in movies, but it actually makes you think when you start reading it again and actually trying to look and study words. So, literally words. That sentence is word. Like, I know brought forth is like bringing, but I'm like, what else could it mean when it comes to Jesus? Because we got to, figure that out. Okay. Chapter 2, verse 1. When Jesus was born in Bethlehem of Judah in the days of Herod the king. So, I know this sounds crazy, but I didn't know his name was Herod. I literally forgot, or literally just didn't remember. Behold, there came wise men from the east to Jerusalem, and saying, where is he that is born King of the Jews? Jesus was known as King of the Jews. For we have seen his star in the east. Now, you remember they followed, they say the three wise men. I don't know if that's true. I have to read it, not if there was even three. But they say the three wise men, he come follow a star. So these are the wise men. It says, it don't say how many. It say wise men, as in groups, right? And saying, where is he that is born King of the Jews? For we have seen his star in the east, and are come to worship him. When Herod the king had heard these things, he was troubled, and all Jerusalem with him. And when he had gathered all the chief priests and scribes of the people together, he demanded of them where Christ should be born. So he was getting angry. He lost it, Herod. He said, where is this baby at that everybody's talking about? Because I need to know where he's at. King of the Jews, I'm the king, right? Power is just, even today, power is just still this thing that makes you go crazy and wants you want to keep that power. Gathered all the chief priests and scribes of the people. So anyway, verse 5. And they said unto him in Bethlehem of Judah, for thus it is written by the prophets. And thou, Bethlehem, in the land of Judah, art not thou the least among the princes of Judah? For out of thee shall come to governor that shall rule my people Israel. Bethlehem, in the land of Judah, among the princes of Judah. Let's keep reading. Because sometimes when you're reading a verse, you have to move on just so you can understand what the previous one you just read was actually talking about. Or you'll be like, okay, what does this mean, Lord? And then he'll answer it later on in the story. So let me go ahead. I just read verse 6 in chapter 2. Now I'm on verse 7. Then Herod, when he had privily called the wise men, inquired of them diligently what time the star appeared. So he's trying to get information. He's like, I need to know what time. I need to know where it's going. I need to know what star. I need to know who this baby is. He's like demanding, telling all his people, I need y'all to tell me what's going on. Y'all need to get me a prophet and tell me what's going on. And he sent them to Bethlehem. This is the king Herod sending his people out there to go find more information. And said, go and search. Go and search diligently for the young child. And when ye have found him, sorry, my notes is in the way, found him, bring me word again that I may come and worship him also. So I got confused because usually kings hate the babies, right? I mean, hate everything, they have their power, but he's telling his soldiers, hey, I actually want to worship the baby too. So just tell me where he's at, time, location, and star. So I can worship him too. I want to worship him too with y'all, So then when they had heard the king, they departed. And lo, the star which they saw in the east went before them till it came and stood over where the young child was. So they followed the star, the men that he sent, that Herod sent. They followed the star, and it landed on top of the child they were looking for, Jesus. Verse 10, when they saw the star, they rejoiced with exceeding great joy. You know how you search high and low, right? You're waiting weeks. We don't know how long they were searching, because it don't say how long. In this, at least in this part, they don't say how long it took them to get there. But could you imagine, like, when you have a goal in something, and you're like, I got to get there. I have to get there. I have to meet this person, or I have to do what I need to do to get where I want to get to, so I can make it. And that's when I'm gonna feel success. And that's where I'm gonna find my joy, right? Because when you set goals and you make them, it's like, dang, I made it, right? So I felt like that was probably 20 times more, because it was like, who is this child? I need to meet this child. And I feel like meeting Jesus, the child, the King of the Jews, who is only a newborn, you know, they felt joy. Success in themselves, I believe, and success in finding Jesus, you know, the King of the Jews. And when they were come into the house, they saw the young child with Mary, his mother, and fell down and worshiped him. I mean, a baby, a newborn. Well, that's faith right there, because I could just feel the weakness in the knees when they fell, when them soldiers fell and they found Jesus. I could feel the gratefulness, the spirit in the room, the final little exhale that they took when they fell to their knees. So joy in seeing Jesus. I'm still in verse 11, chapter 2. And when they had opened their treasures, they presented unto him gifts, gold and frankincense and myrrh. And being warned of God in a dream that they should not return to Herod, they departed into their own country another way. So you could just, you know, the impact Jesus had, the faith people had in him, and he hasn't even done anything yet. They've been speaking to him as King of the Jews. They've given him all this money. They've given all this gold, all this myrrh. I'm assuming myrrh is, let's see what myrrh is. Furs. I would be using my phone and saying, hey Siri, but myrrh is a fragrant yellow resin, R-E, that comes from the conifer tree and is used in medicine, perfuming, and incense. What? I always, you know what I always heard was it was always money at first, but I never heard about money. I mean, medicine. They gave him medicine. Hold on. Let me make sure I've written that. Being warned, God, dream. Yup, and myrrh. Frankincense. Let's look at what frankincense is. They gave him medicine. And it came from a conifer tree and is used in medicine, perfumery, and incense. I always lose my spot. Frankincense. Oh, look. Somebody, or you know how Google already knows what you're going to say. Overview. Frankincense is a hardened gum-like material that comes from the trunk of the boswellia tree. This is what it looks like. That's what it looks like. Frankincense oil seems to kill some types of bacteria and fungi, yeast. It is commonly used as a fragrance in soap, lotions, and perfumes. Natural herbs. You know how we always, you always hear about natural herbs, and they was using natural herbs then with Jesus, and they gave it to him as a gift for healing, for if he gets sick, because them babies, they get sick. And okay, so let me move on. That was important to me. So, and when they were departed, behold, the angel of the Lord appeareth to the Jews, to Joseph in a dream, saying, Arise, and take the young child and his mother, and flee into Egypt, and be thou there until I bring thee word, for Herod will seek the young child to destroy him. So he wasn't trying to worship him and all that. That was, can I say it? BS. He lied to his people he sent, so that they can bring him back and tell him information. But he was actually he's actually against Jesus. He actually didn't like Jesus. Why would you hate Jesus? Jealousy. He was jealous of him and the impact he's already making as a young child. So imagine if he allows him to grow up, what he's going to do. What we already know what he's going to do. Save our lives. Save our souls. Give us mercy. Okay, so let me just keep going. Okay, so they had to get up and leave. Jesus warned them. God warned Joseph in a dream that he had to flee. 16. Then Herod, when he saw that he was mocked of the wise men, was exceeding wroth. Hold on, hold on, I went too far. Hold on. And when they were departed, behold, the angel of the Lord appeared. Okay, so it wasn't God who appeared to Joseph. It was an angel. Just as good. So verse 11, when he arose, he took the young child and his mother by night and departed into Egypt, and was there until the death of Herod, that it might be fulfilled, which was spoken of the Lord by the prophet, saying, out of Egypt have I called my son. And was there until the death of Herod, that it might be fulfilled which was spoken of the Lord by the prophet, saying, out of Egypt have I called my son. So I'm going to keep reading. 16. Then Herod, when he saw that he was mocked of the wise men, was exceeding wroth, and sent forth to slew all the children that were in Bethlehem, and in all the coasts thereof, from 2 years old and under, according to the time which he had diligently inquired of the wise men. Anger, what anger can do to a person, when you allow your anger to control your thoughts, and you lose control, it can be dangerous. I'm not saying that everybody's gonna go out murdering a bunch of babies, but anger that's why it's good to take peace, breathe in, breathe out before you make a sudden decision, and think things through, because I don't want you to do anything you're going to regret. And I think about that all the time. That's why I don't like holding anger in my heart, in my mind, because that anger builds, and I'd rather heal my anger. Do you see what I'm saying? And get through those things, because if you don't get through those things, think those things through, things can happen that you just will regret, and you don't want to happen, and you don't want that to be stained on your heart and stained on your body. So just breathe and breathe out. Okay, so let me keep going. So we know, let me just do a recap, that he's angry, he's furious. So he said, they mocked him. I guess and he realized that he was being mocked by his people he sent to go find him. So to go find Jesus, he sent soldiers out to kill babies under 2 years old, because of the time frame. He had the time and stuff. He had enough information to be able to send out some soldiers to kill. Because we don't ever think about the soldiers, though. What kind of mindset as a soldier are you? I feel like today when it comes to the army and stuff like that, they tell you to do something, you're taught to do it, right? Because it's for the United States, or it's for the people, right? So you trust them. And I believe there was some soldiers though who just like, I can't do it. They got to be. You don't talk about it, but I like to think broader than you know, this, because we have to think deeper. We have to think within the words and the flow of things. And I feel bad for those soldiers who was put in that positions that had to do that. And in their mind, they probably thought it was the right thing to do. But Herod is angry, and he's... So 17, then was fulfilled that which was spoken by Jeremy, the prophet, saying, Jeremy the prophet, another one, saying, in Ramah, R-A-M-A, was there a voice heard, lamentation, and weeping, and great mourning. Rachel weeping for her children, and would not be comforted, because they are not. A mother crying about their child. Oh, could you imagine what that night was like, what that day was like, when all those babies... You have to have no heart. There has to be no heart in you to be able to do that. And they did it in front of the parents, in front of the families. But when Herod was dead, behold, an angel of the Lord, appeared in a dream to Joseph in Egypt, saying, arise, and take the young child and his mother, and go into a land of Israel, for they are dead which sought the young child's life. God and, his angels. It's God and Joseph, Jesus, the mother. And telling them what to avoid, where to go, which way to ride, which way to swim. I mean, he's just always there. Just like in life, he's always there. Always guiding you, always telling you where to go. Ooh, that scared me. Sometimes I feel like, I always say this, is when there's a lot of this going on. When there's a lot of this going on, most of it is you. But when you end up right back here again, Jesus is putting you right on track. So I do believe that when we doing like this, that's us learning from our mess ups. But when we always get back on track. We always end up back on track. So you just have to have faith in him, because I feel like there's a destination that they need to be at, right? And they have all these turmoils. They have the king trying to kill them. They have soldiers killing babies. They have probably mountains, feet hurting, crying baby, traveling all these hills, thirsty, hungry, money, somewhere to stay. They got all these things going on. But God still reminds him that I'm still here and I'm leading you exactly where you need to be. Just as long as you trust me. Let me keep going. The Lord appeareth in a dream to Joseph in Egypt, saying, arise and take the young child and his mother and go into the land of Israel, for they are dead which sought the young child's life. And he arose and took the young child and his mother and came into the land of Israel. Let's talk about this too, because Joseph, he literally gets up every time God tells him to. He gets up every time. No question, he gets up. That is obedience. And he needed that man to be there. He needed him specifically to be there, because he needed a man that was going to listen, follow direction. Don't question me. Just do what I tell you. Kind of like them soldiers, but he is working for God, and God trusts him. That's a trust. I'll pray. Here goes. Okay, I just got off the phone with my husband. All right, so he did explain to me what, because remember, if we go back to Matthew's chapter 1. He made fun of me. Matthew chapter 1, verse 25, the very last verse. It said, and knew her not till she had brought forth her firstborn son, and he called his name Jesus. So when you say knew, he told me that it's when you actually like have intercourse and you get to know that person. So knew. And so he didn't know Mary until she had Jesus, until Jesus was born. So I want to just regroup that part. But let me go back to where we were. He said, hey, it's time to get up. We need to go to Israel because the man who was trying to kill y'all is gone and dead. So now they are on their way to Israel. And Joseph got up and took his family with him. 22. But when he heard that Archelaus did reign the Judah in the room of his father Herod, he was afraid to go thither, notwithstanding being warned of God in a dream, he turned aside into the part of Galilee. And he came and dwelt in a city called Nazareth. So something scared him off of Israel. A man named Archelaus, he reigned in Judah. He must have been causing issues in Judah. So Joseph got scared. Let me see what reign means. Ooh, that is like reign. Hold royal office. Rule as a king or queen. Oh. So he took Herod's position. And it sounds like he's been causing reign in Judah in the room of his father, Herod. So Herod is Archelaus's father. And he took his position. And so Joseph got scared and went off to Galilee. And he came and dwelt in a city called Nazareth, that it might be fulfilled, which was spoken by the prophet, he shall be called a Nazarene. So Jesus will be called Nazarene. Okay. Man, we read 2 chapters. 2 chapters of Matthew. And I have my little notes here, but I probably already told you. The king wanted to kill Jesus, born in Bethlehem, moved to Egypt. They traveled a lot for us to do. How is it right for God to do? Oh, that's further down. But anyway, thank you guys so much for watching. Oh, that was terrible. I'm just so glad we got to do this. I'm glad. Oh, I just feel like I don't know what to say. I'm just glad we got to read this Bible together. I mean, I'm loving being able to share this with you guys and, us doing this together. Please comment below. Please comment below. Please tell me what you're thinking about what I'm reading and how you felt about, Joseph, the soldiers, the mother, his mom, Mary, Herod the king. And, what are some of the things that you got out of today? And what are some of the things that you want to tell me? Because I want to know, hey, because this is just my view. I can only imagine hearing other people's views, because hearing other people's views and testimonies is a great thing, because it helps you expand your thoughts on what happened and what we've read. So please feel more than welcome. No judgment. This is a judge-free zone, okay? We are nothing but friends and family, and I love you guys in this Bible. So don't forget to read, breathe, and Bible. And I will see you guys again tomorrow. Deuces.